Hello everyone. This video, the intention of this video is to basically focus on some films that I personally think are either a little underrepresented, aren't really talked about a lot, and films that either not many people know about, or films that are in need of reevaluation now. There's not a huge amount. I did this quickly. It's 2:45 in the morning. I'm been in work all day, and I thought I'd do this video. Now, this is just personal opinion. You might think these films are crap, which is absolutely fine. You're wrong, but they are. Like I said, this is personal opinion, and but I think quite a few people might agree with the films I've chosen. There's not a huge amount. There is 8 films that I want to talk about that I think need a reevaluation or need discovering. So I'll kick off with the first one. The first one is a Western directed by John Cassar, who was one of the people behind the television show 24, starring Keith Sutherland. This film was directed by John Cassar and actually stars Keith Sutherland and Donald Sutherland and Brian Cox, Michael Wincott, and Demi Moore. It is Forsaken, a Western movie that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. This film is amazing. It's so good. It's very, very good. And I think a lot of people should seek this movie out. I mean, if you're not a fan of Westerns, that's entirely fair. But if you do like Westerns, I love Westerns. I love more of the revisionist, more modern-y Westerns than the old kind of 1940s, 1950s Hollywood Western. There's nothing wrong with those films. I mean, like The Searchers is quite possibly one of the greatest films ever made. But I prefer more of the revisionist style, modern Westerns that started with the spaghetti Westerns, like The Good, Bad and the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, the Clint Eastwood ones and stuff like... what else is there? It was mostly Clint Eastwood films, I guess, when you really think about it. But then stuff like Silverado and Dancing with Wolves, Open Range, Unforgiven, which I think is the greatest Western of all time. But yeah, Forsaken is a very, very good film. And it's one I urge people to check out, or people want like a recommendation for a Western film. I'll be like, check out Forsaken. Forsaken's really, really good. It's definitely worth your time. Stellar cast in here. Like Keith Sutherland, Donald Sutherland, Brian Cox, Michael Wincott, and Demi Moore. And yeah, I really, really, really do recommend fans of Western should check this out. Along with, let me grab it, the only Thai West film that I own in my collection, In a Valley of Violence, starring Ethan Hawke and John Travolta, another fantastic low-budget Western. Definitely worth your time. These two, if you did a double bill back-to-back of Forsaken and In a Valley of Violence, that would be 3 hours of your time well spent. I think this might be a little bit more known because it is Ethan Hawke and John Travolta, and it is directed by Ty West, who at the moment seems to be on a roll with his Pearl whatever the latest movie is. But yeah, Forsaken, definitely seek this out. This Blu-ray was $3.99. I took a punt on it, and I'm glad I did because it's really, really good. And next up is a film that I think does definitely need reevaluating is a film from, I think it's 1996. Not 100%, I think it's 96. It's an action thriller directed by Kevin Hooks, and it stars Lawrence Fishburne and Stephen Baldwin, of all people, Stephen Baldwin. It also has Will Patton and Salma Hayek in it, and it's the film Fled. Now, I love this film. This is my sick day film. When I'm ill, I watch two films. I watch Fled and I watch Outland, starring Sean Connery, the Peter Hyams movie. This film is cool. It's got really good action in it. It's not even very long. It's 98 minutes long. So when I'm feeling ill, I'll pop this on. I used to just pop the DVD on, but now I've got the Blu-ray. I've got the German Blu-ray. I can watch this in high definition. I can watch Dodge and Piper shooting people up, and it's great fun. The 90s gave us some really kind of good, underrated action films. And I'm not talking like the kind of straight to DVD or straight to VHS movies of the 90s, like the Jeff Speakman kind of Jeff Wincott, lots of Jeffs, and or the sequels like Kickboxer 2, 4, 3, 9, whatever, however many best of the best, not those type of action movies. I'm talking stuff like Fled, like Hard Rain, like what else is there? Gone in 60 Seconds. Where is it? Oh, I've lost it now. Stuff like that, and Broken Arrow, John Woo's Broken Arrow movie. Fled sits happily alongside those as an underrated action film of the 90s. Probably Stephen Baldwin's second best film after Usual Suspects, or third best film after Usual Suspects and Biodome. I love Biodome, by the way. Yeah, this is such a fun movie. It's got great action sequences in it. It's got a good script. It's not very long. It's not very time consuming, and it doesn't make you think. It's a turn your brain off, enjoy movie, and Lawrence Fishburne's amazing in this. So yeah, that's Fled. That's another film that I think is in need of a reevaluation. Then we have, and I know a lot of people know this film, especially because of who directed it and who was in it, but I still think to this day it's hugely underrated as a comic book movie, and it's Darkman, starring Liam Neeson and directed by Sam Raimi. I have always loved Darkman. It has that early 90s kind of Tim Burton Batman feel to it, even though it's very much a Sam Raimi movie. In fact, it feels more like, you remember in the early 90s you had Batman, you had all these kind of retro science fiction stroke action kind of comic book movies like Darkman, like Dick Tracy and The Rocketeer and stuff like that. It has that feel, shot on 35mm film as well. And again, this is only 95 minutes long. It's not a taxing movie. It's got a great performance by Liam Neeson as Preston Westlake, or Peyton Westlake, sorry, or as we know him, Darkman. It has a really good atmosphere, really good score by Danny Elfman, and great performances from Liam Neeson and Frances McDormand. It's got Colin Friels and Larry Drake in it as well. Yeah, I really do enjoy. I love Darkman. Darkman 2 and 3, not so much, but Darkman 1 is great. And this is the uncut version, which I don't believe I've seen an uncut version anywhere other than on this German Blu-ray. I mean, I've got the Region 1 DVD trilogy somewhere on DVD. But yeah, Darkman's great. Again, it's not one that is underrated or not talked about as much as the others, but it's one I feel more people should watch because of how good it is, and the fact that it's got Liam Neeson in it and Bruce Campbell at a very tiny cameo. But yeah, very cool movie, very cool atmosphere, very cool score by Danny Elfman, and great directing by Sam Raimi. So that's Darkman. Now this next film, I know of this film that this person has directed, and he managed to get a cast which comprised of Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie. Giovanna Ribisi is also in it, and Michael Gambon, Bai Ling, Omid Jalili. I can't remember. Yes, I can. He's the guy. Yes, it's Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. This film is awesome. Like, it's so good. The fact that it's made to look like one of the old kind of 1950s serial movies. It's very retro science fiction, which is I love retro science fiction. That's why I love The Rocketeer so much, and that's why I think the first Captain America movie just nails that aesthetic throughout the entire film. But yeah, Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, by today's standards of CGI, it does look a little bit ropey, but this kind of did the Sin City thing before Sin City. So it was written and directed by Kerry Conran, and I do not know of another film that he's made. This seems to be the only one, and from what I remember, it was a passion project that he had the whole thing storyboarded and everything. Yeah, so when this came out in 2007, 2005, 2007? Oh, so 2004. Jesus Christ, this film is 19 years old. Bloody hell. But I think there's something that they used, what's his name? Oh, God. I think it's Laurence Olivier's image as the leader of the world of tomorrow. But yeah, so obviously World War II, alternate universe, Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow, needs to be loved more because this film is awesome, and I kind of have the urge to watch it again now. But I love Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. Yeah, very cool film. Bit like Flash Gordon. Next film we have is another science fiction film. And it is a Charlie Sheen movie, believe it or not. It's probably my favourite Charlie Sheen film. I like Hot Shots, but I think The Arrival is his best work. And no, this is not the Denis Villeneuve film with Amy Adams. This is kind of more in line with something like Contact and like an X-Files episode. But this film's really, really cool. This is from the director of my head's gone. Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick and Below, and there's another film he did as well. I can't remember what it's called, but it's David Toohey, and this is about a radio astronomer who discovers a signal, which then leads him kind of in a was it like a chase, I guess? It did remind me quite a bit of Stephen King's The Tommyknockers, but not so much to that degree. I mean, it has similar themes and stuff, but it's very much like an X-Files episode, an extended X-Files episode. Yeah, this is really great. Now I'm talking about this, I kind of rather want to watch this instead of watching Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. But yeah, this is a fantastic science fiction film, and it's one I would love to get hold of a DVD copy of this. Not DVD copy, a Blu-ray copy of this, because this is the British DVD, and it's sadly only in 4:3. It's not in full letterbox, or it's not in full screen. Well, it is in full screen. Is it full screen? It's 4:3, so it would be like the box, not the widescreen. That's what I meant to say, widescreen, Pete. But yeah, this is very cool, and I would love to see I'd love to see film like 101 Films release this on Blu-ray. I think this would be up their street. Maybe not something like Arrow or what else is Arrow or Powerhouse or something like Eureka. It's not their type of film. Maybe no, I think this is definitely a 101 Films candidate for release. I mean, they released Screamers, for crying out loud. This would sit perfectly alongside that. And they've done a lot of science fiction stuff. So looking at my collection, 101 is released, Class of 1984, which I know is technically not science fiction, but is sort of science fiction because it's based in the future. Screamers, Boy and His Dog, Death Sport, Alien Nation. What else? The FX movies, which I know they're not specifically science fiction, but they have obviously a sci-fi element to it, to do with the like special effects and stuff. They've done Space Hunter, Runaway, Tarantula, Crack in the World, The Lost World, It, Nemesis. They've released every single edition of every single Nemesis film, and there's only one good Nemesis film, and that's the second one. No, I'm joking. Is the first one. They've done Solar Warriors, or if you're in the States, it's known in the States as Solar Babies. I think Solar Warriors is a better name, but I say that. But Eureka have released like Enemy Mine and Journey to the Center of the Earth and Night of the Creeps, so it could possibly. No, I think this is 100% a 101 Films release, and I for one would buy it in a heartbeat, because I think The Arrival is a great movie. Now, this is a film that I don't think a huge amount of people know of, or it's very niche. It's directed by John Flynn. It's director who directed Steven Seagal's best movie, believe it or not, which is... What is Steven Seagal's best movie? Out for Justice? Is it Out for Justice? I can't remember now. But it's the one where he plays Gino Felino, and he wears that stupid beret. But John Flynn's a great director. He directed this. This is The Outfit. This is based on a novel by Richard Stark, who is actually Donald E. Westlake, screenwriter in America. He wrote these novels under the name Richard Stark, and these novels were following a character called Parker. Parker's been in multiple different films, but under a different name. So in this, he's known as Macklin, Earl Macklin. In Point Blank, I can't remember what the character's name is in Point Blank, but I've seen that a few times. He made the movie Slayground with Peter Coyote, and well, I say he made it. He wrote the novel, which Slayground, I think it was like 1983 that was made. Peter Coyote played the Parker character, but under a different name. Mel Gibson played Porter in Payback, which was essentially a remake of Point Blank. And there was another one as well, which was more of a blaxploitation movie. I think Jim Brown was in it, and he played a version of Parker. But the only person to play Parker with that name is Jason Statham in the movie Parker. But the Parker novels are amazing. They're really good, like kind of neo-noir crime dramas, like pulpy kind of crime dramas that have been adapted into multiple movies and were then adapted into comic books or graphic novels. But the outfit is awesome. It's very cool. This is the remastered Warner Brothers Archive edition. I got this from America after I bought a bootleg copy from a now defunct bootlegger, Twisted something, I can't remember, which is where I got this a copy of Michael Mann's The Keep as well, because these films weren't available at the time. But this is a very cool, like, gangster crime drama revenge movie, which has got Robert Duvall playing Macklin, Joe Don Baker, Karen Black, and Robert Ryan, and yeah, it's really cool. John Flynn actually wrote this as well as directed it. I would love to see this again get a legitimate Blu-ray release. This isn't legitimate. This is a legitimate copy. This is the print-on-demand Warner Archive release. But even though it's on a DVD, as you can see, but I actually ordered this from Warner Archives, not like some dodgy dude on eBay. This is a legitimate copy, but I would love to see this get a full HD master or HD remaster. Not necessarily, I don't really give a fuck if it's 4K or not. I just would like to see a HD version of this because it is very cool. This is another film I think. Well, I did at one point. I did have a poster of this on my wall. So the posters that I've got on my wall are this. You can see there's a Dawn of the Dead poster. It's tiny. There's an Indiana Jones poster there, which has been there for about 20 years. There is a Yakuza poster. There is a Logan's Run poster. There is a Streets of Fire poster. Walter Hill's The Driver, which is another phenomenal like neo-noir movie. And Back to the Future. And on the other side, I think I have an Alien poster up there. But yes, I did have, this is how much I love the outfit. I had a poster on my wall of this movie. This is very, very cool. After Payback, this is probably my favourite of the Parker movies. So we've got 2 left. So that is the outfit. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say that no, it's not overrated or not underrated. It's not as well known, but it is a very, very culty film. It's motherfucking Tank Girl. Now, this movie, there was 3 movies for me. There was Tank Girl, Judge Dredd, and Hackers. All 3 movies came out in 1995. And it was at the time I would have been about 12. So my tastes in certain things were changing. Prior to being a 12-year-old, I used to listen to cheesy British pop music, and then for some reason I got a skateboard and started listening to more punky kind of Green Day and stuff like that. And the reason I got into skateboarding, well, originally the reason I got into skateboarding was because of Back to the Future 2, or Back to the Future. And there was something else as well. I think I'd seen like clips from like an old skate video at someone's house. I can't remember now. But yeah, for me, I don't know, it's weird. Hackers, Tank Girl, and to a degree Judge Dredd all had like a punk aesthetic to it. Tank Girl had the most punk aesthetic to it. And it is just punk. It is punk personified. Even with a punk soundtrack, a rock soundtrack, it's got a lot going for it. A lot of people think it's crap, which I can understand. It is a bit of an odd one. It is a weird film. Let's put it that way. Laurie Petty, Ice-T, Naomi Watts, Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm McDowell basically just wore the same clothes he wore in Star Trek Generations and played the same villain, but in this. Laurie Petty is absolutely fucking phenomenal as Tank Girl. Naomi Watts, early, probably her first movie, I think. I'm not 100% sure. She plays Jet Girl, who has a jet. There is another character in this, which is Sub Girl, but she's only in it for like 2 seconds, and she knocks someone out with a plastic fish. Again, like I said, it's mental. It's set in 2033, which is 10 years from now. So in 10 years, we will be living in a world where water and power owns all the water and all the power, and the world is covered in sand. But it's such a weird movie. It's so good, though. It is really, really good. See, I remember watching this for the first time and thinking, what the hell is this shit? This is so bizarre. But then I watched it again, and then again, and then again, and then again, and the soundtrack just got stuck in my head. Like, the soundtrack's incredible. It's got Devo on it. It's got Devo. It's got Bush. It's got Massive Attack. It's got L7. Ice-T is on it. Paul Westerberg. Joan Jett. It's such a good soundtrack. I mean, this was directed by Rachel Talalay, who directed quite a bit. She made quite a bit of stuff in the 90s, in the 80s and the 90s. I think more people probably know her now as she directed quite a few episodes. I think it was Doctor Who. I'm not really sure. Maybe Torchwood, something like that. But she fought hard to be able to direct this adaptation of the Tank Girl comic book, which was created by Alan Martin and Jamie Hewlett, who went on to create and design the Gorillaz with Damon Albarn, the lead singer of Blur. But yeah, Tank Girl is just cool. It's so cool. It's fucking weird, but it's so cool. There is an animated sequence in this which lasts about 30 seconds, and every time I watch it, I'm just like, this entire sequence would make a brilliant feature-length film. I mean, the animation is stunning anyway. I think the animation looks like it was done by Todd McFarlane's people. They did the same... It's the same animation style as the... who did it? I think Disturbed did the cover of Land of Confusion, and and Todd McFarlane animated it, and same with the Spawn animated show as well. But yeah, Tank Girl, I think more people should see it because it is fucking awesome. This needs a UK Blu-ray immediately. It's on MGM, so it's probably going to get released at some point by some boutique label, because a lot of MGM's catalogue is up for license, because I think Arrow has released quite a few. RoboCop, there we go. Arrow released RoboCop. That's an MGM movie. So I really need the Tank Girl Blu-ray that will actually play on my Blu-ray player. I used to have the Scream Factory, the Shout Factory release with the yellow cover, which I sold because my Region A, or my multi-region Blu-ray player, decided to stop reading multi-region discs and any disc, so I got rid of it and I sold Tank Girl. I kind of wish I hadn't, but I did. I made quite a good bank on that as well. I think I think I got like $30 or 30 quid for it, which was pretty good. But yeah, so I kept the DVD. Obviously, I'm not going to sell the DVD. This is one of my favourite DVDs. And yes, I love it. Tank Girl. I have a Tank Girl t-shirt as well. And I would definitely get a Tank Girl tattoo. But yeah, Tank Girl. Watch it, release it, find it. It's amazing. And finally, this is a film that, again, at the time, it was one of those like weird situations that we had when Armageddon and Deep Rising came out. Not Deep Rising, that's a completely Deep Impact came out. So Armageddon and Deep Impact were two films about the same sort of thing released at the same time. It's happened quite a few times. But this was released around the same time as another film. This, for me, personally, I think is a far better film. It's better directed, it's better acted, and it's just all round, I think it's a great film. It's a Brian De Palma film. It's got Gary Sinise in it, Don Cheadle, Connie Nielsen, Jerry O'Connell, and Tim Robbins, and it is Mission to Mars. Now, I absolutely adore this film. I've seen this film God knows how many times. It is a beautiful movie. The ending is absolutely stunning, and it doesn't go in a way that you expect it to go. It goes in a more Close Encounters of the Third Kind ending type of way. But it's about a mission to Mars, obviously, to find I don't know, it's weird. There's I think they go. It's been a while since I watched it. It's sort of like a rescue mission to Mars to rescue the find out what happened to and rescue the people who were the first people to land on Mars, and they discover something on Mars, and that something turns the plot in a way you don't expect, and it's all set to one of the most beautiful Ennio Morricone scores I have ever heard. There is a track on the soundtrack called Where, with a question mark at the end, and it gives me chills, sends chills down my spine every time I listen to it. It's got a great cast. Gary Sinise is fantastic in every single thing he did. Even that piece of crap movie called Imposter, which was based on a Philip K. Dick story. And why is it a piece of crap? Because it's really badly made, but it's acted well by Sinise. They even took clips from Starship Troopers and used them. But yeah, it's not a very good film. This, however, I think this is probably Brian De Palma's last greatest movie, and it is, I think it was released by, it's Touchstone. This is Touchstone Home Video. This is owned by Disney. Yeah, Disney have done tickety-boo fuck all with it, and it needs a release in the UK, a proper Blu-ray release in the UK. It would benefit with a 4K, it would benefit with a HD, anything. Please release this in the UK. The only Blu-ray that I'm aware of is in France, I think it was, and I think that is now out of print and going for mad money. But yes, Mission to Mars needs reevaluating ASAP, because it is a fantastic film, and it was unfairly trashed when it came out in 2000. But like I said, the music in this Ennio Morricone score is absolutely stunning. The visual effects are by John Knoll, who is the visual effects supervisor at ILM. and he was the one who came up with the plot for Star Wars Rogue One. And yes, I love this film, and it's also written by the guys who created Predator, Jim Thomas and John Thomas, and also with Graham Yost. Oh yeah, so good. See, I've got the music playing in my head now, and I'm just thinking, what do I watch? What do I watch? Should I watch Arrival? Shall I watch Tank Girl? Or shall I watch Mission to Mars? But Mission to Mars is amazing, and like I said, I think it's about time this film got reevaluated by people. And yeah, I love it. So that's just a few films that I thought were in need of reevaluation or discovering. I didn't realise this video was going to be this long. This is now 35 minutes. And it's 22 minutes past 3 in the morning. And I've just rambled on like a maniac for the last near 40 minutes. So I'm going to stop it there. And thank you all for watching me ramble about movies, which is what I love to do more than anything else in the world. So yeah, peace.